and trees and all that gets for Houston, and I loved and a couple seconds out. Did you too?
Yes, I enjoyed that.
Also, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Everyone we woman, and she is foundation. Tell us what exactly foundation.
Foundation is a foundation that January and anxiety. Do to help people. She died. And talk God's side. They died by 2000. People came together, and I gathered people together. We came to talk about there is hope, and that you talk more and text less. And as I have gone and through the 7 years, learned that this is really a topic that has went from third leading cause of death among teens, 15 to 24, to second leading cause of death. And the pain is really a lot of the reasons people want to die. It's not that they really want to die, but what they're dealing with, childhood trauma, they've had genetic or it's hormonal, chemical imbalance, PTSD, things that have happened in your life that you've gotten so depressed and you're not able to overcome. And with your anxiety, sometimes that goes along with attention deficit, learning disabilities, hyperactivity, all those kind of go together. But it's been rewardable to be able to share Ashley's voice, to help people get help, to talk more. Because it's a temporary problem that really turns into a permanent problem because you die by suicide.
Right.
And that's
definitely permanent. You can't undo it. No,
and
unfortunately.
suicide survivors are the ones like me and others that suffer a lot because you're trying to learn what could you've done. The guilt. Why didn't I pick it up? And we did pick it up as far as different signs and symptoms. She was in the hospital. She was on medication. She went to the doctor, but she was also on social media. And we were not on social media. And she had gotten some of her friends and family off social media. That way they didn't really see. And the ones that did see really didn't understand. Because here's a young lady, 5'11", with a smile, seemed very happy, sports, active, had friends, a lot of social media, Twitter, all these followers.
Right.
So you figure, well, what's wrong with her? Even though she's writing all these dark things, we never really got that evidence and help people to get mental health and talk more.
Well, we appreciate that, and again, like you said, it's not an easy thing to do, and I have obviously seen beautiful pictures of your beautiful young daughter, and I can only imagine as a parent how devastating that had to have been for you. And like you said, she was in the hospital getting the help you thought she needed. It was all of it, and you were doing everything you possibly could. It sounds like to me.
Yeah, I just didn't know how deep it was, and that's what I've learned with the suicide and suicide ideation, because she had attempted twice before with pills, and that's a cry for help. And you try to tell people, and you do keep it very secret, because you feel this too surpassed, adolescents going through different things. And she would say, I'm not going to hurt herself. So when that day happened, that she actually texted me, that she had got her father's gun, she was tired, she couldn't do it anymore, she loved me, she was sorry, bye.
And you were at work that day?
I was at work. I had left for that morning. I mean, with your kids, with all the things that they're going through, it's like, you can't continue to babysit or watch. But her father had stayed.
You cannot watch them every single second. You cannot. It's not possible.
And her father was home that day, and she decided that from the Twitter and all the things that I saw, she had wanted a gun. And when she got the gun, she posted on dean.org that you can look at our website, that there's a video that talks about the things that happened. But it's very hurting. You have good days, bad days, but your joy comes in the morning, because after you sleep and you go through things at night, it always seems to touch base of how you do so much thinking. You're alone, and I have an older son, and he is in New York, and he finally came to grips with his sister's death after 6 years, and he started the awareness called Dead to Silence, which is in New York, and you can follow him also. And he is also, on the 25th birthday in July the 18th, he had an event here. And it was very good to see, and through my prayers, I said, you know, let God, college 1978, and things change. You grow apart, and each person has to learn to do their own way of how they handle things. And he wasn't in agreement of doing Ashley Jadine Foundation because he felt it was very embarrassing that what she had put out on social media and it's all over the papers and, you know, showing her with his gun. But I knew that God had wanted me to do more, that I couldn't sit back. And with the people that I gathered together for Ashley Jadine Foundation has been very helpful. But through this awareness, I have gotten different honors. I've met you,
Yes,
which is very good.
absolutely.
So
We're
you've
going to be
made
doing
a
a lot
lot
of projects together.
So
So
you've
y'all stay
met a
tuned.
lot of,
So.
You met a lot of good people. And what I really enjoy is helping people with the school. You know, being able to get into the schools and talk to people and talk to the students and the parents. And I do health fairs and I do speaking engagements. But the main thing is we have a walk in September, which is the Suicide Prevention Month. And we raise funds to help the operation, and then we give scholarships to young people that are high school seniors, that they fill out an application, they write an essay, and it helps what difficulty have you gone through in life to get this point, because I would never be able to give money to Ashley to help her, to go to college or to continue with her career. So it's a way of giving back. And in 2000, live and die. We don't know when, but we can take the joy to help someone else get through their problems.
That's exactly right. She was 16, is that correct?
17.
17.
17 years old. And it was a difficult journey because that Christmas, December 2011 was the hardest thing. I loved that holiday, but her brother and her got into it and it was a lot of problems and a lot of issues, and he had left and never talked to his sister, and she hadn't talked to him till I called him January the 30th, 2012. And it was sad, but he was able to finish his 4-year degree at Morehouse College with a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. And then 2 years later, as I'm going home to Kentucky, where I'm from, children, one of the kids from Sandy Hook promised parents, and another person from Iowa, and my son and I did an interview, and they did that at the house, and it was very moving to go back through that whole experience from that morning to the night, because each time you trigger with different things that happen around her anniversary date, her birthday, graduations are pretty sentimental, proms, and then you have your holidays, like it's coming up on Thanksgiving and Christmas, because those are very family oriented. But I've had a lot of good family and friends that have come together and had a lot of positive image and encouragement to keep going. And my faith in the Lord has helped me so much to keep moving on and pressing forward, that He gives you the strength to get through each moment. You know, we have on our brochure, it talks about Corinthians 4:6, chapter 4:6 verse. For God, who said, let light shine out of darkness, made His light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ. So that's something that's out of the darkness. And they have a walk that I just attended with a couple friends in the Woodlands, American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. And that was very important to see all these beautiful families and people together that have died by suicide, but we're still out there remembering their...
That had a loved one that had died by suicide, right. And it's good to be with other people when you've been through that too.
And that's one thing that I've done. I did the suicide support groups and I did Bo's Place. And it's really been helpful to be around other people that have lost someone. Because losing a child is a very hurting thing. You never really
And
ever get over it.
It can be devastating, absolutely.
You never
It's
get
always
over it.
on your mind all the time.
But I wanted to share know the warning signs of suicide prevention, which is hopelessness, self-destructive behavior, withdrawal from family and friends, giving away prized belongings.
Let's start that again and do it very slowly,
Okay.
so our audience can make sure, in case they're taking notes, because these are very, very important. I think a lot of people sometimes say, gosh, I'm very concerned about my loved one, but you know, they really need to hear each area that you have there. These are very important.
Okay.
So I'll have you go those shoes again, but just a little bit slower if you
A
could,
little bit
please.
slower, I get fast.
I know you've been doing this for a while too, and so you say it quickly too. So while you're looking that up, one thing I did want to mention to everyone is there is the Sandy Hook Promise organization. I was just at a school here, in Fort Bend County in Sugar Land, where they come out and speak to schools, and it was very well done. It was talking about if there's a student sitting alone or things like that, to go join them, go help them. They had a list of things, and so I'm trying to bring someone from that organization to our area, hopefully in the spring. And so that'll be interesting too, and I think that's very helpful for all of the students.
Okay. Suicidal warning signs, hopelessness, talk about feelings trapped or in an unbearable pain, self-destructive behavior.
So let's go back one at a time. So how would I recognize that my teen is hopeless? I mean, what are some of the comments I might hear?
I don't care, I don't feel good, I don't want to go to school anymore, it's no use of doing this anymore. If you've had a child that's been very active when she was in volleyball or doing things with her schoolwork, your grades fall, the attendance falls, not interested in doing that activity or listening to music or being with
That they
friends.
always loved before.
They've given up on hope.
Okay, thank you for explaining that.
And then talk about feeling trapped or in an unbearable pain. And I believe that's a lot of times the pain that you can be depressed. We all get depressed, but how deep you go
Right.
and how severe
Which
you
can,
have.
which can truly be a chemical imbalance
Yes.
in your body also. That is very true. That's been proven by science.
And you have a child that wants to cut. And sometimes when they're cutting, that's releasing the pain, what's ever inside of them that they're dealing with.
And see, when I first heard about cutting, and I've known several people that have done that, it's like, oh my gosh, how could you possibly cut your skin or whatever? And that is when they're so far to the point that they want to release something, they can't really, for some reason, they're not able to release the pain that they're feeling. And so by cutting, then that makes that the pain, and somehow that they're trying to release that. And I know it's hard for all of us to understand, but you really are in a very, very bad spot in your life when you do that. And there is help for all of these things you're listing, of
Yes,
course.
yes.
So, go ahead.
And then self-destructive behavior threatens to hurt him or herself. You've seen a lot of the mass shooting. That sometimes they go out and hurt other people.
Right.
And then they'll turn the gun and kill die themselves. So the behavior just becomes bizarre.
Matter of fact, the man that's over all of the mental health in the state of Nevada, I've actually become good friends with him, and what he said is that person, the person, the veteran that took all those lives in Las Vegas that time, you're right, they're depressed. They are depressed, and unfortunately they want to take other people with them, so you are exactly right on that. Doesn't matter what age you are.
And the one thing about that is, it doesn't matter, you have Kate Spade, you have Robin Williams,
Absolutely.
you have Anthony Bourdain, you have so many people. It doesn't worry about the color, the ethnic, how
Does not
Christian,
matter.
the faith.
No,
It's something
does
that's
not matter.
within you that is just, look at the Santa Fe shooting that went on here in Texas, where the young man went to school that day, had a gun, and just fired on different people until they could get him calm and take him away. It's a very bizarre situation.
And my nephew, the very first one, unfortunately, was at Columbine High School in Colorado. And my nephew was on the campus when that happened. He was a football player, so he was in a whole different area of the building. But what a devastating, for that to happen too, and all these other shootings. And our classes that we teach with Advocates of Healthy Minds is we are trying to start at elementary school even. And so to coping skills for anxiety, depression, sadly we have first graders that have depression and anxiety. And so if we can start at those ages and work up, we can jump right in middle school or high school or whatever we need to, but if they teach those skills, if they learn those skills, how to deal with all the stuff in the Young Man in Santa Fe or wherever, I think they would have gotten, to get more help, or someone would recognize, this child needs more help than what Evelyn's classes are teaching or whatever.
And sometimes we do know, but the families or your parents, you try to hide it. And you try to discard or just show it away, kind of like the Sandy Hook with the young man with the guns and how that morning he first got the mother. I think a lot of times if we would just be able to talk about it without the
Right.
stigma and out the shame
Yes.
to say that this person has a depression or a mental health. We doesn't look at them like a taboo to the side that, oh, that he's crazy.
No, I agree. We absolutely have to be able to talk about it, put it out there, talk with each other about it so we can help each other. The first thing you'll see on our website, which is advocatesofhealthyminds.org, is our Fort Bend County Sheriff, who is saying step up and speak up and stop the stigma.
Yeah.
And that is something we absolutely have to do, whether it's veterans or first responders or children in schools or whatever. Because then it would be okay to say, you know, hey, I'm not feeling good here. I know something's wrong. And I think all these ones we're talking about, I think they knew that something was wrong and they were going to do something that maybe they shouldn't do in their mind somewhere. Even when you have really bad depression, you still can know right from wrong. You know,
Because
if you've been grown up, you know, you've been taught that way as you've been grown up.
Because I think
as you've grown up,
eventually
yeah.
what you've hidden,
Mm-hmm.
it explodes.
Exactly.
Like your Virginia
And
Tech
big
that
time. Yep.
that started way back
Explodes big
with the
time.
teachers and
Mhm.
everybody saw the need, but we
Right.
don't want
Right.
to meddle. We don't want to intervene.
Mhm.
We don't want to step over boundaries.
Exactly.
But then when we have all the mass shootings and things that go on, we could have done more prevention.
Exactly, I agree. And people, that's why I say step up and speak up. You have to step up. If you have someone in your neighborhood that you're concerned about, you know, they don't have to know it's you that called. There are places that you can call to say, hey, we've got some concerns down the street here. Because it may be you, your family, that, you know, something can happen to you if you don't, for one thing. But it's our responsibility to actually do that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because until it happens to your life or in your family, you're really not aware and you say, that's not gonna bother me.
Right.
That's not gonna touch me.
Mhm.
But you don't know what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
And then withdraw from family and friends. That's a big one. Because you try to, like in social media, you defriend or befriend to
Right.
get people down. And I saw where she wrote about that. And you pull away or you be angry with that person so they won't talk to you anymore. So you distance.
Mhm.
But you increase the use of alcohol or drugs. And that's
Let me ask you
something,
one question before you go into that one. Now, on the social media, were people saying negative things about her? Was there any bullying going on?
Sometimes,
or any of that?
there was some cyberbullying that she had gotten involved with her family and friends about things. Because a lot of times, you know, etiquette, you don't tell all your business on social media.
Mhm.
If you're having a
Right.
family feud or you're having a fuss with a
Mhm.
friend or a co-worker, social media is not really the place that you should do it.
Yeah,
And then if
absolutely.
you are so bullied at school, you continue it on Facebook, and then people take your picture and they decide, well, I'm gonna make you
Mhm.
feel really
I'm gonna
bad.
share that with everybody.
Cause before in school, you didn't have that. You had your fight, your fuss,
Exactly.
you
Mhm.
went home.
And nobody else knew about it either.
Now you
Not a
take your
million other
picture,
people on social media.
you share it with your
Mhm.
phone, your text. We just continue the cycle. It never really breaks. And then if you're angry and you're mean and doing things, people don't understand why you're acting this way. You're acting out. But there's other reasons that go on with that.
Right. And I think too, a lot of times with our teens, they don't really get downtime anymore.
Yeah.
It's either Twitter or Facebook. You know, I know they don't use Facebook as much as some of us that are my age, you know, but with Twitter or Facebook or all the other things out there, they don't ever get to relax because they're looking at it all the time. And you know, I'm hearing families say, well, phones are shut off from this time to this time. I think that's a great idea.
Yes.
You know, it's not going to, I know at that age they think it's not going to be the end of the world if they don't find out who's doing what at 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday night.
Because sometimes that can just erase your
Mhm.
sleep pattern, your mind,
Mhm.
because you're worrying about the likes.
Right.
How many people liked what I did, how many people didn't, discourage what they did. But it's a way of just cutting off the things that we need to talk about or describe. Because when she did put on Twitter that she finally got a gun, there was a lot of likes. Because a lot of times you see that young person, you don't think she was going to do that. You didn't think that she would eventually end her life, and that her life, what was going on, was so bad that what you saw her, you tried to help her, you tried to talk. I'll never forget one of the mothers called me and says, is this real?
Yeah.
Because her daughter was there crying and things like that. Because I had talked to her, a couple of her friends a month before. You know, and people feel that's calling wolf. Each time that there's an attempt, another attempt is gonna happen to where they want to go. Unless they, like she said, I have to get better. You know, I'm not like you. All these things that you're trying to help me. You've got to believe that you have a problem, that you are depressed, that you have an anxious. You are going to therapy because it's helping you. It's not because your mother's just taking you there.
Right.
That you feel the difference. You, in the things that she wrote, you knew she felt the difference because you said emotionally and mentally, I don't feel well, but financially I'm okay. So you already know, but it seems like in the letter that she wrote, that she left and I got 6 months later, that her father showed me in the house that she thought about suicide when she was in 3rd grade. So there was already things in her mind
Right.
that she says I wasn't good enough, I shouldn't have been born, I always gave up. She said, you'll be happy when I'm gone. You know.
And sadly, that's what people think, and it's, you know, you're living proof that it's not better that she's gone.
Right.
You know, and for those of you that out there that may be even thinking about this, you are wrong. You will be greatly missed, whatever you're going through. And you know, a lot of our teens too, I'm trying to talk to them about that this is just a very, very short time in your life. And I was talking to a man last night, and when you look at it overall, the overall picture, you know, I mean, there's some of the kids I went to school with that, I mean, I don't remember a lot of their names. You know, high school, somewhat, or if I have to look at my yearbook and go, oh yeah, I remember who Joey was, you know, and that's, you know, it's just such a short time. And you know, you're gonna get through this, and there's things to say that this too shall pass. I will get through this. It's okay to get help and counseling, absolutely. And to anyone out there that you know, passes, there's free counseling. There's all kinds of ways. You can look at our website, which is advocatesofhealthyminds.org. Our phone number's on there. You're welcome to call me. There's all kinds of referrals that both Cheryl and I would be able to give you. And so we have a couple of minutes left, Cheryl, so what would you like to sum up?
Well, let's see.
I know we probably could talk for 2 or 3 hours about this and about your great loss, but the first thing I would like to say is that thank you again so much for being brave enough to come out here and form the Ashley, I always say it wrong, Jadine, excuse me, Foundation, because just what I've seen so far, you are helping so many people. And we went together and talked to a group of teens in 3 classes in a row with about 80 kids in each class. And I think it was important for them to see that, yes, this was this beautiful young lady, and that her family misses her greatly. And I'm going to get a tear in my eye here, because it's such a horrible loss for you, and I've gotten to know you, so my heart reaches out to you, for them to see that too, and that no matter what you're going through, I don't care what it is, it can get better.
Yes.
You know, but talk to someone. And the other one to remember is that when you're at this age and you're talking to all your friends, they're the same age as you. You know, and so you're all basing this on the experience you have at 15, 16, 17, 9, 10, whatever.
Yes.
So go to someone and get help.
Yes.
I've heard different people say, well, you know, a lot of times the last people, unfortunately, that our kids will go to is their parents. Because they're going to freak out and go, oh my God, they're going to have me at the psychiatrist and the counselor. I'm going to be there every single day. And my
personal loan, urge professional help. There's no secrets. And know the Suicide National Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. In your churches, school, communities, please have health wellness ministry to provide for mental health and physical challenges that are not non-judgmental. And also please support your local, state, federal funding for mental illness and wellness to provide programs. It really takes a village. Follow God's dream for you and your life and professional health through your church. There's resources that are out there. You can look at our website and her website, which is www.ashleyjadine.org. Please locate your areas for support. Throughout the past 7 years, going to health fairs and other events, giving presentations, helping individuals and families in crisis, and attending where I have learned everybody and everyone has a story to share, and how we shall overcome our hurdles in life.
It will be, get them the help they need. And the last thing I would like to say is that what you were talking about was talk, not text.
Talk more, text less.
I really like that. I'm going to steal that and put it on my website. Is that okay? All these things that we do, we could all do the exact same thing, and we would still not be able to reach everyone. So I'm a big advocate of working together.
Getting that, when it's funny how we talk about that. That was the Fox 26 came and they wanted to do an interview that night at the house when she died. And they didn't want me to do an interview, didn't talk, which I feel that is really important because people need to know that people were aware and were doing things. And that's how that came up. Talk more, text less is something that we really need to do.
Absolutely, and I know sometimes texts can be confusing too.
Yes.
You and I texted someone the other day, and then they gave me an answer back, and I was like, well, that's not what I meant. You know, that and emails too sometimes.
Yes.
You know, that it's, you don't,
You need to
you
hear
don't
the
know what you're saying,
person's
you need
voice.
to see, and they will share what they're feeling and thinking, so. Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
on
Evelyn.
today.
Appreciate
and-
it very much.
And thank you for everything you're doing. I know it's been a very, very long road for you and a very tough road for you, but I truly feel like, and we've given some talks together, and I'm sure we'll do many more,
Yes.
but I truly feel like what you are doing is saving other children's lives. So,
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much.
Appreciate it.
yeah, glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.